Outdoor pageant has survived floods, heat waves, stardom, rainouts for 42 years. This year, we have a new challenge. Like most other theaters in Minnesota and around the country, we're on an extended intermission. Without our normal live performance, the Wilder pageant will create and perform for you in a new way. Like all of us, the Wilder Outdoor Theater is a work in progress.
How can I lay like with you?
So we welcome your comments and suggestions as we move from our dugout on the banks of Plum Creek and journey to your digital home. The gate at the Wilder pageant site is closed, but our hearts are open to continue to share the theme of resilience and hope through family, friends, and faith.
And mine, Mr. Hansen. He'll take good care of you. I'll miss you.
We'll see. Something funky is going on, which is usually the case.
Our journey continues as we return from Burr Oak and meet with our old friends, the Ensign family. It's good to see them and continue Laura's Prairie Summer, a 6-part miniseries over the next 2 weekends. We have a mixture of live and recorded scenes, special guests, and more. This is episode 3. We decided to stop at the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum in Walnut Grove and found bookshelves filled with wonderful selections. One that caught our eye was a selection by author William Anderson titled The Selected Letters of Laura Ingalls Wilder. He's written extensively about Laura Ingalls Wilder and has authored or edited about 25 books and more than 100 articles. We sent him a telegram to meet us for more information and to visit about his long and successful career as a writer and teacher. Please welcome William Anderson. Are you there now?
Good evening.
Hello there.
Good to be here.
Now, we have some pictures from your old photo album. You have an extensive past with Walnut Grove and many people connected to Laura Ingalls, including Garth Williams, the illustrator of the Laura Ingalls books. What started your passion for history and Laura Ingalls Wilder?
This all dates to 3rd grade when my classroom teacher read us the book Little House on the Prairie, and we did all sorts of pioneer activities. And as a kid growing up in Michigan, along with my classmates enjoying that book so much, we had no idea that this went on all over the United States and Canada and even in other countries. So we were part of a use of the Little House books as part of our curriculum. And the next year, our 4th grade teacher read another book and another book in 5th grade, and this was rite of passage through American education.
Right.
And I can remember one of those summers wanting something to read, so my mother ordered On the Banks of Plum Creek from our local department store, and they delivered it. And I just devoured On the Banks of Plum Creek and realized this is a series and we should read them in order. And I had a burning question. From the first book, we knew from the storyline that Ingalls family lived near Pepin, Wisconsin.
Right.
The second book, Almanzo lived near Malone, New York. The third one, they were in Independence, Kansas. Where the heck was Plum Creek? In the book, Laura Ingalls Wilder only referred to Walnut Grove as town.
Right.
And I got the letter back. It looked very official, but it didn't answer my question.
Okay.
So that came later that I knew that Walnut Grove was the place.
Right. And now you've been out to Walnut Grove a number of times, right? In fact, you were here for the very first pageant performance?
Well, even before that, before Walnut Grove was organized to receive tourists, I made my first visit there. And my memory of that summer is this amazing green land and all the crops on either side of Highway 14 and this fantastic blue sky overhead. And I thought, if only Charles Ingalls had stuck it out a few more years, this could have been his life, a successful farmer in Minnesota. And it's such a gorgeous place in the summer. You can just almost see things grow.
Right.
Such a good land, western Minnesota. And when I came to town the first time, some friends of ours in our hometown had made this Wilder trek. And they said, well, go to the Walnut Grove Tribune. Mr. Charles Lance can answer some questions and show you which direction to go in search of Plum Creek.
Right.
So I went to the newspaper office and I met Charles Lance, the town lawyer. His brother Everett was the newspaper publisher, and Charles's wife was the secretary to both. And they were by then serving as the host to the Wilder people that would come through. Very cordial. And they directed me to Plum Creek, and there I met Harold and Della Gordon, who were wonderful, hospitable people. Farmers, but they had this sideline of being hosts to the dugout site, which was not too far from their farmhouse.
Right.
And they said, just go back on that lane and you'll see the creek. And there it was. So that was my first visit to Walnut Grove.
Right, so you saw the sights before they were even sights.
Exactly. Very little signage, maybe one or two signs. And you just had to use your imagination. But in a way that was good because I felt I was seeing this land unadulterated and like it must have been when the Ingalls family were there.
Right. And now then when the TV show, really took off, that's when we started the pageant. And like I said, you were here for the very first show. Back in 1970, I forget. 78, I think, yes.
I remember that very clearly because by that time I had been asked by DeSmet, South Dakota to come out on my college breaks and work for them because their tourism was burgeoning.
Right.
And it jumped a great deal after the premiere of Little House on the Prairie on television. And every summer we tour guides and members of our board and so on, we'd make at least one field trip over to Walnut Grove for those in DeSmet that hadn't been there.
Right.
So we'd come over and visit, and the first project in Walnut Grove came the summer after the premiere of the TV show, and the community realized they had to do something for the influx of visitors, so they opened up a little information center and a gas station along Highway 14.
Right.
And got together some displays and maps to get to the Gordon place, the Plum Creek farm, and so on. So that was the first project. Then came the pageant. And then a group of us from DeSmet drove over to the pageant.
Right.
And it was in the high school gym. It was a blistering hot evening seems to me like it was in July.
Right.
And we sat on the bleachers and just dripping hot. And there was a winter scene in the pageant. And all I could think of was those guys are all up there in these heavy wool coats. It must be like a sauna.
Yes.
And we thought we were hot out in the bleachers.
times have you been out here as a guest, do you know? As a guest or as a visitor?
Well, it'd be hard to say because in the later years, the museum has invited me out during the pageant time to sign books, speak, and then several times I've been coupled up with some of the TV cast. Most recently, Charlotte Stewart, Miss Beadle, and I were in Walnut Grove. We had a wonderful time. I've been to Walnut with Allison Arngrim and a few other members of the cast. And that's always fun because they represent the TV reality.
Right.
And through my books, which are nonfiction, I represent the factual historical angle. And it all merges into one affection for the pioneers, the Ingalls family, in the town of Walnut Grove.
Right.
And one of the most exciting times was when I was working in DeSmet. I got Garth Williams, the illustrator of the books, to come out to DeSmet and do his first appearance there.
Okay.
Speaking and signing books. And I remember thinking, hey, we can't get him this close to Walnut without calling up Shirley Knockmoose and saying, hey, would you like me to bring Garth Williams over? Well, of course. And it was during a pageant time, so there were scads of people around, and we set Garth up in a portion of the museum at a long table.
Right.
And the lines just went outside, a couple hundred people with their books for him to sign, and lo and behold, it turned out that a very young Amy Foster was probably early teen at that time. She was in that line, so we met way back then. And then later, she's become such an icon and an important part of the museum. So it was fun to know that we had an early meeting, and she remembered Garth Williams coming to town very clearly.
Right.
But of course, he was in Walnut Grove in 1947 when he was doing research on illustrating the books. And he came to town, and probably the Lances directed him to the Gordon farm.
Right.
So he met Harold and Della early on, and they had no idea that the farm they just purchased had all this history connected with it. And Harper and Brothers sent them a complimentary copy of the book, and they got indoctrinated very, very quickly. It's just all been a fun chain of events and serendipity, which leads to a lot of happy people every summer season.
That's true. What is your connection with the work of Laura Ingalls Wilder? How does that make a difference to your life?
Well, I have always been an educator, so that's been my profession. But very early on, I did some early primary research before many people were looking into the facts behind the books and any extra history. And I did that by corresponding with the Lances and Aubrey Sherwood and DeSmet. And when I worked there as a tour guide, I collected a lot of oral history from DeSmet people who still remembered the Ingalls family. So it was curiosity. And then I was asked to write some booklets. The story of the Ingalls family, the story of the Wilders. So we had something there at the museum to sell for people that wanted some rudimentary facts about the family.
Right.
So that's how I started to publish. And then the years went by and research was ongoing. There was always something new discovering and turning up. And then HarperCollins asked me at one point, would you write a children's biography of Laura Ingalls Wilder? Which I did. And then they asked me to do a book called The Little House Guidebook for Travelers, and on and on and on. So my experience as an author has been very different than most writers, where you have to make the rounds of publishers.
Right.
So I was asked to do most of those books, and I just treated them like a homework assignment and turned those out, and it's been a fun process.
in some firewood in case it gets cold. Tomorrow, Mrs. Fitz said she'd tell us about her chickens. So thank you, William, for being our guest tonight. Any last thoughts or a favorite Laura quote before you help us bring in the firewood?
Well, just keep up the good work, and we're crossing our fingers that pageant will be bigger and better next summer.
Right.
I hope to be there again.
I hope so, too. Thank you very much, William Anderson.
So much.
Now, while Laura is out doing chores, I'll tell you about the online More Than Laura Nellie Challenge and the PA Lookalike Contest. The winners will get to share with us live on the last weekend, July 24th and 25th. No big prizes, but certainly bragging rights and personal satisfaction, and a pen from the maple tree on the Ingalls school site. Maybe she dreamed under that tree. Who knows? There are 4 categories for the online More Than Laura Nellie Challenge. Ages 6 to 8, ages 9 to 12, ages 13 and up, and pets. Yes, I said pets. For more details and a registration form, email us at laurasprairiechallenge@gmail.com. Across the country, indoor and outdoor theaters are on extended intermissions. Thank you for the donations coming in this week. Our Laura's Prairie Summer Series is free to watch online for a month, but as each of you knows, the expenses don't stop because the income has dropped to zero, as each family knows. Donate to us or another worthy cause if you are able. There are donate buttons on the Facebook page and a link to the pageant site as well. Thank you. The Ingalls returned to Walnut Grove after a time in Burr Oak, Iowa. They lived with the Ensigns while Pa built a house. Howard Ensign had an important question for Laura. Let's see what it was in the scene Welcome Home from our dugout of history.
Pa always had thoughts for that better life. We moved to Burr Oak, Iowa to look for that dream. While on our journey there, my brother, Charles Frederick, passed from us. No one will ever know the heartache his death brought to us. It touched my family with a sadness that follows me still. The next spring, baby Grace was born. And at summer's end, Pa sold our cow to pay our debts, and we packed once again and headed back to Walnut Grove.
Will my friends still be in town when we get to Walnut Grove?
Ensign's letter said that the ensigns and the masters were still doing well in town. They didn't say much about the Nelsons.
Nelson is my favorite.
Well, girls, things have changed. We're all older now, and, well, the good news is that you will have plenty of time to catch up on all of their adventures.
When we get settled and get some money saved up, we can have a party to get reacquainted with our old friends. Food and dancing, you can learn a lot in that short time. Hear that, girls?
Smokes like your pipe, Pa.
I look like that. Need to change my ways.
We all have things we need to work on. But first, we need to say hello to our good friends, the Ensigns.
Hey, Laura, aren't you kind of sweet on Howard?
He's okay, but he's just a boy. I think I can still run faster than him.
That's good to know, Laura, if we gotta go chasing down cattle when they jump the fence.
Here we are. I don't think I see anyone at home. Should we just head on over to Fitch's general store to pick up supplies? Maybe they've already gone there to get a few things themselves.
Yep, good idea. Get up, horses.
Oh, hello, Ingalls, and welcome home. Good to see you, Laura.
Oh, Howard. It was so quiet. We thought that you'd already gone to the store.
Mother and Father did go get a few things, but Anna and Laura are still cleaning up the house.
So are you expecting company?
Yes, we are.
Then we best head over to the store and get set up for the night.
Well, not yet, please. Mother and Father are just coming up the street.
Oh,
Mary, Laura, you go on and head out and run and help Mrs. Ensign carry that sack. Now, Scoot.
The place looks well kept. Did you have a room off to that end? I don't recall it being that big before.
Yes, sir, we did. Crops were good and thought it'd be a good idea. Now there's some carpentry skills, too.
Charles, good to see you. Have that fiddle all rising up and in tune?
Caroline, come in. You'll want to see what we have added.
Oh, that would be delightful. How about we stop by after supper? We still have to set up camp and then get ready for the night.
Nonsense, you'll stay with us.
Oh, that's kind of you, John, but we couldn't take charity.
I'm not offering charity. Between your fiddle and your strong back, you may wish you had slept under the stars. We need to discuss your future here in Walnut Grove.
Oh, we don't want to impose.
I'm hungry.
Hush, Carrie.
That's good, Carrie. We have a big pot of beans and side pork that need to be eaten.
Oh, thank you.
It's settled, Charles. We've cleared out Anna's room to make room for you and your family. You know me, Charles. I won't take no for an answer. We have all been waiting for your return.
Anna and Howard have asked about you almost every day. Willard has been busy studying so he can go to college in the fall. He's been working with the school teacher. He plans to be a teacher.
I'm going to be an engineer so I can keep those big trains running on time. Come, Laura, I'll show you a big train that just came into town. I know the engineer.
I should stay and help unload the wagon.
Go on, Laura. We don't have much. Anna and Carrie can help me unload the wagon while our parents stop.
Race it to the tracks.
See if you can catch me.
Such enthusiasm. I wish I had some of that at the end of a long day.
Oh, I remember that kind of excitement. I remember it well.
I beat you by a yard.
You started first, so maybe only by a foot.
I have a serious question to ask you, Laura.
I thought we came to see the train.
You can do that anytime. My question has been waiting since you left.
Then it must be important. Go on, I'm listening.
It's a hard question. I'm not too sure how to say it.
Best to be direct, so there's no confusion.
All right, Laura. Will you...
Come on, Howard, you can say it.
Will you marry me?
Might nice of you to ask me, Howard. You're a strong runner and helpful around the house. You treat your sister well, and you respect your parents. I think you pay attention in church. But we are kind of young.
Lord is just a few years older, and he's already asked 3 girls to marry him.
That is very interesting. I'll have to ask my father.
Ask him right now?
No, see if he can catch up.
What have I done?
Tonight's Main Street Food for Thought brought to you by the Olson Mercantile. These are community people. They are your neighbors. Do business there whenever you can to help keep the community alive.
Welcome to Lights and Beyond, where you will find all your lighting needs and so much more. Come in and see our large displays of painted furniture, vintage and mid-century modern pieces, antiques, and all our reclaimed furniture made from beautiful quality solid wood. Shop our 3 floors full of quality merchandise. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff will assist you in a joyful shopping experience here at Lights and Beyond. Visit our Facebook page at Lights and Beyond Inc. Thank you from Lights and Beyond, and remember, shop local.
Churches were a vital part of family life. Laura attended a number of gatherings. In this look into the past, she visits the old master's store still standing in Walnut Grove and remembers her time there in The Central Truth.
This place holds many memories. It's been forever since I helped her and went to the church meetings upstairs. So much has changed. Our house and the hotel are gone. I understand that the master's store was a private residence for many years. Perhaps I'll just take a peek inside. gone from Walnut Grove for a long time. Miss Maddie would sit and visit with Doc Hoyt at a table just there, I think. We would come for supplies and maybe a piece of candy for a treat. Ah, such a long time ago. My best and worst memories are upstairs. Let's see if these old legs can still climb these stairs. Yes, there was a crowd of folks that came here for religion. Right here I learned an important lesson. But I took care of little Nan over there. After the service at the Congregational Church, I would join in the Methodist Sunday School. Right here, I earned my first Bible.
Very good, Laura. Only 2 more verses left. You are doing very well.
Come see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on earth. And finally, Ephesians 6, verse 10 through 11. Be strong in the Lord and his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes.
We have 1 person left. Howard Ensign, please stand and come to the front. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am, I am. 2 Timothy, verse 12 through 15. Ye and all that live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. 2 Timothy, verse 12 through 15. Ye and all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse. A child which has learned the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make thee wise.
Amazing. So we actually have 2 winners. Howard, here's the Bible. And Laura, I will order you one that will come within the month. Congratulations. Laura, you should get the Bible, and Howard should wait. You got all your verses first.
I know, Mary, but remember when Howard cried when I played with Albert Moses? He's not very strong, so I figure he needs the good book more than I do.
I knew Howard would do well. We had studied together several times. He was a smart young man, but not a real strong individual.
Laura was generous in her consideration of Howard. Consider being generous to the Wilder Pageant or to other charities in need. Remember that Laura's Prairie Summer Series is free to watch online for a month. Please donate to us or another worthy cause if you are able. Thank you. One of the things Laura enjoyed was her mother's lemon pie. On her way to a church picnic, she's hopeful that she'll be able to have a taste. Or will she?
Up you go, into the wagon. We wouldn't want to be late for the church picnic. Laura, let me help you with that pie so you don't drop it.
Thank you, but no. This is my mom's best lemon pie, and I'm going to keep it safe.
She just wants to be sure to get a big piece for herself.
My turn, eh? Ready, Laura? Yes, Anna. I probably would.
Hang on tight, it might get a little bumpy.
Yeah, you wouldn't want the pie to fly out and land in the creek.
The pie can fly. There's a fly in the pie. Oh, the mouth. Hush, Carrie, or a fly might pop in your mouth and nothing will ever taste good again.
Laura, be kind to Carrie. She's just making up rhymes, and I thought it was pretty good.
Everyone check. Here comes the bridge.
This is wonderful. Go faster.
Oh, Julie, I want to get there just as fast as you.
wagon. Hold on tight, Laura.
See, Alex, slow down or there'll be no food or appetite left when you get to the grove. Have you been here before, Mary?
Yes, a couple times. We followed the creek south into a big grove of trees. Some of the cattle got loose and we had to help find them. It was a long walk, but the shade was very pleasant. And we did walk in the creek a bit to cool off too. It was a wonderful adventure.
Did you find the cattle?
We saw them, but Powell Masters rode some horses out and chased them to the back of the corral behind the store. Look, we're here!
Whoa! Whoa! Wait for the wagon to stop before you leap out, girls.
Anna and Mary, do you see that big quilt on the ground over there? That's where everyone will put the food together before we eat.
What's that jug next to the food for?
I suspect that is fresh-made lemonade. Just the thing for a hot, sunny summer day.
Laura, please get me some lemonade.
Another one of Laura's Prairie challenges is the Pa Lookalike Contest. Images must be appropriate for children. This young man certainly has the pioneer look. Perhaps you do too. Email photos to laurasprairiechallenge@gmail.com. Tomorrow, July 18th, is Episode 4, Brotherly Love, with special guest Wendy McClure, author, columnist, and children's book editor. She is the author of The Wilder Life, My Adventures in the Lost World of Little House on the Prairie, winner of the 2011 Midwest Booksellers' Choice Award in 2011. We'll also be talking to Melanie Stringer, an interdisciplinary public historian, museum specialist, lifelong scholar of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and owner of Meet Laura Ingalls Wilder, LLC. She has presented over 250 living history programs to audiences in 9 states since 2010. She is co-chair of the Laurapalooza Academic Conference. The Ingalls Dugout site north of Walnut Grove has over 25,000 visitors per year. Owner and caretaker Stan Gordon shared thoughts about the site and why it fascinates people today. The extended interview will be available on YouTube.
Okay, my name is Stanley Gordon. I'm the owner of the property on which the Ingalls Dugout site is located. I was raised here as a child and have come back in the last 25 years to take over the operation of it for the benefit of the community. And so this is essentially our retirement project. Well, we started out here after being in semi-retirement in the early 90s, and then fully retired in 96, and refurbished the buildings and planted prairie grasses and built this trusty bridge and a whole host of things to make it a little more comfortable and safe for visitors. The flood of 18 was probably our biggest challenge that we've ever had out here. You'll be shown pictures of the extent of the damage and so on that was done, but this bridge that we're standing on, there was debris on the top railing here. That was an unheard of height of water in our experience. And it didn't take out the bridge, so we're grateful for that. This was one of my pet projects all along. I said I probably did more engineering on the dugout site than I did in the last 20 years on my various jobs in the profession. The people are a particularly high-class group in our opinion. We've had individuals that have been maybe $1 short, and we'll get a letter in the mail with $1. I think the record was we got a letter in the mail with a quarter in it once. They're very respectful. We very seldom, if ever, have any trash to pick up. And they're just interesting folks. They're interested in how Laura's childhood home may have looked in the 1870s. Probably the most interesting that I recall, there was a lady and her daughter from Japan, and they were a little confused as to what they should do. They pulled up into our yard, and we happened to be working out in the yard and talked to them a little bit.
I don't know what it was.
Found out that they were here to help the daughter with her high school paper. And so they flew from Japan to Minnesota, and they had two objectives. They were going to go to Mall of America, and they were going to go to Walnut Grove. And then they were flying back to Japan. So we felt honored to be included with the Mall of America. People will tend to follow one of the paths from the parking lot over to a overlook, if you want, that frames the dugout site. And so that's a popular spot. And then, of course, they're already here, and so they'll see, okay, there's the bridge. We can get across the creek, and we can get up close to the dugout site. And so that's very, very popular. They can get an idea, some frame of reference as to the size and the location of the dugout relative to the water and the surrounding terrain. And then they come back across the bridge, and they'll follow the path, and they'll generally find themselves, as they walk along the creek, near what we think was the big rock. And that has a sign posted by it. When the water is low, it's easy to find, but sometimes the water, or lots of times the water isn't that low. Okay, in 1998-99, the DNR had a program where they were encouraging the planting of prairie flowers, particularly along roadsides. And they approached us about maybe planting a patch or two here for, just to see if we could get something to go. And so we did that. And it was something that was on our list of things to do. My wife, Hazel, had always been interested in getting some prairie grasses established. And so that was an opportune time to do that. We had to kill off all the existing vegetation and plant prairie mixes from known suppliers of prairie grasses and try and get it started. And getting it started is a little difficult. It requires mowing it about 3 times each year for 3 years to discourage things that aren't prairie grasses. And eventually it gets enough of a foothold so that it can survive on its own. And as I often tell people, getting a prairie established is easy if you treat it like a garden. Because people can come out here during much of the season and get more of a flavor as to what it might have looked like. One of the interesting things about prairies like this, they're different every year. One year you have just more yellow flowers, and another year you have something else, but over time, it has settled down, and we think the visitor gets a lot of enjoyment out of that. And we intend to do this to make it available for visitors as long as we're willing and able to do it. And Lord only knows how many years that is, but so far, so good.
And next weekend, watch for episode 5 on Friday, July 24th, where we'll be live with Allison Arngrim, everyone's favorite Nellie Olson from the Little House TV series. We'll also be speaking to Barb Mays Boosted, representing the LIW-LRA board, well known for her fascination with Laura's weather. On Saturday, July 25th, our guest will be Pamela Smith Hill, an American author with many works including Laura Ingalls Wilder, A Writer's Life, and Laura Ingalls Wilder's Pioneer Girl, the annotated autobiography. The Laura Ingalls museums are opening with caution and restrictions. Check their website so you're prepared to know what to expect. You got that firewood in, Laura? Good. Now we're prepared for that long winter. Get some rest, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time when the Wilder Pageant brings you Episode 4, Brotherly Love, in our 6-part miniseries of Laura's Prairie Summer. Thank you for watching, and good night to all you prairie girls out there.
Close your eyes, drift away. Let the sun warm your heart, and the wind blows fragments of a dream. In silence, walk together. Memories lead the way. You can feel our dreams are magic, like a vision. They fade away. Close your eyes, drift away. Let the sun warm your heart, and the wind blows fragments of a dream.